Bootleg fashion. Noun. Homemade DIY clothing that replicates and appropriates the branding and logos of major fashion houses such as Louis Vuitton, Fendi, and Gucci in a unique way that creates a new way of perceiving the brand and design. While the bootleg fashion renaissance has recently taken off, the DIY fashion aesthetic has deep roots tying back to New York City and Dapper Dan. Today we wanted to take a look at the rising trend of bootleg fashion, its history, how it has made its way back into culture, and who the major designers are of bootleg fashion today. Daniel Day, publicly known as Dapper Dan, is an iconic fashion designer who has pioneered his own aesthetic into mainstream fashion. Born in 1944 in Harlem, New York, Dan grew up with 3 brothers and 3 sisters. In his early childhood, Dan can recall horse and buggies still on the street. Growing up, Dapper Dan was a gambler, and by the age of 13 he was well known around the city due to his gambling skills. He eventually earned enough money from gambling, and in the mid-70s, Dapper Dan opened his first boutique store on 125th Street between Madison and 5th Ave. Dan initially faced struggles starting his store, as fabric and clothing retailers did not want to do business with him due to his race and the location of his store. In order to succeed, despite racial prejudice, Dapper Dan taught himself everything he could about the fashion industry, including how to design and create his own garments from scratch, labeled as knock-ups instead of knock-offs. Dan's trademark look was his bold use of logos from major fashion houses including Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and Fendi. He reportedly also developed a new way of screen printing directly onto leather, which at the time had not been done. As Dapper Dan's name grew as a designer in the 80s, hip-hop was also becoming the mainstream. This led to Dan designing for high-profile clientele such as LL Cool J, Bobby Brown, Salt and Peppa, Jam Master Jay, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, and many other high-profile names. At the same time, the crack epidemic was happening in New York City and across the country, which inevitably led to Dan creating clothes for hustlers and drug kingpins including Alpo Martinez. In the late 80s, Mike Tyson was photographed outside of Dapper Dan's store, getting into a fight while wearing one of Dan's knock-up Fendi jackets, which was reported on by the press as a knockoff jacket. The media attention led to Dapper Dan being sued by Fendi in 1992. As a result, Dapper Dan's first store was closed down, and he was rejected by mainstream fashion for decades. Dan continued to work in underground fashion continuously, and in 1999 began designing for Floyd Mayweather again. This marked the resurgence of Dan's career in mainstream fashion. Fast forward to 2017, and Gucci creator Alessandro Michele designed a jacket as an homage to Dapper Dan's well-known 1989 jacket for Diane Dixon. Alessandro notoriously replaced the LV pattern with Gucci's double G pattern. Social media blew up when Diane posted a photo of the Gucci replica and the original jacket next to each other. More recently, Gucci and Dapper Dan officially collaborated and released a special Dapper Dan Gucci collection, featuring all of Dapper Dan's signature looks. Although Soho, New York is considered the home to some of the fashion industry's biggest and most appealing luxury retail stores, the further you go down south of Broadway is where you'll soon reach Canal Street. Notorious for being a hotspot for buying counterfeit goods in New York City, tourists spend millions of dollars every year on Canal Street, which certainly could not be ignored by luxury retailers wanting in on the profit. Successful marketing is key for any fashion brand looking to create awareness or hype around their products, even if that means being controversial or edgy. This was first observed around the late 90s to the early 2000s, when streetwear giant Supreme would use the branding of fashion luxury houses such as Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and Burberry as inspiration for their box logo t-shirts, which were originally looked down upon when they were released. Today these pieces are considered grails, despite being sent a cease and desist letter by the LVMH group, which likely added to the hype around the pieces. This trend has been recognized by luxury fashion brands and incorporated into their collections. Brands like Balenciaga, Vetements, and Gosha are notorious for creating pieces that could be considered as fake. Italian clothing brand Diesel even took this a step further, and in 2018 released a campaign called Real Fakes, in which the brand launched a pop-up store that was actually located in the heart of Canal Street, where they sold shirts that appeared to be fake but were actually produced and sold as real garments by the brand. In 2017, then Louis Vuitton creative director Kim Jones released a collaboration with Supreme, marking a milestone as Supreme was sued by Louis Vuitton after they used their branding for a box logo t-shirt. Another major fashion house to embrace the bootleg aesthetic, as mentioned earlier with their Dapper Dan collection, is Gucci. Gucci's also gone on to release a collection called Gucci, spelled G-U-C-C-Y. Gucci also did a collection with artist Trouble Andrew. Andrew for years was known as the Gucci Ghost around New York City because he painted the double G Gucci pattern on a sheet for Halloween and wore it around as a ghost. The artist used this aesthetic as his signature for years, and was eventually tapped by Gucci to help collaborate on a new collection. You could even interpret a recent line from Jeremy Scott and Moschino as an homage to all things New York and bootleg. And it would be hard to argue that Kim Jones at Dior did not pull inspiration for the Dior Jordan 1s from the classic DIY Gucci and Louis Vuitton Air Force 1s we've all seen. A final note about high fashion designers creating or imitating bootleg fashion would be designer Heron Preston, when in 2011 he released a bootleg Givenchy shirt resembling Riccardo Tisi's Rottweiler design. Today in pop culture, you will often see major celebrities, such as Billie Eilish, J Balvin, and Bad Bunny, rocking bootleg clothes made by some of today's most prominent designers in the medium. Some of these individuals have brought back the resurgence of bootleg fashion, including Imran Potato, Slumpy Kev, Itai Drory, Vandy the Pink, and Ava Nope, just to name a few of today's artists. Creators like Imran Potato and Slumpy Kev have taken this to a higher level, creating pieces physically and digitally of all kinds while reappropriating images and logos with their own style. Some of the pieces they have created include Gucci engraved baseball glasses, giant inflatables, toys, food, video games, band-aids, and many other unique objects. Designer Itai has taken bootleg fashion and design in another direction by creating sought-after pieces like bags, shirts, and lighter cases with genuine Louis Vuitton leathers and fabrics that he cuts from traditional bags and reconstructs them with his own design. Itai has made such a considerable impact by cutting Louis Vuitton towels and reconstructing them into bags that he has been banned from buying Louis Vuitton in stores and online. Recently, Itai has been creating highly sought-after pieces of furniture constructed from Louis Vuitton towels and sells them for thousands of dollars. Young designer Reese Cooper has paved his own lane in DIY fashion with his RCI DIY line. Cooper has released an entire line consisting of minimalized pieces with kits including ink for printing, patches to be sewn, pins, thread, and a manual on how to customize and create your own jacket. Designer Ava Nope has been able to transition from a DIY at-home designer to working and designing with some of the largest brands in the world when she caught people's attention by putting out a bootleg Gucci and Champions Gear hoodie. Ava has gone on to work with brands such as Helmut Lang and Marc Jacobs through her unique bootleg designs. The final DIY bootleg designer we will mention is Austin Babbitt, also known as Ass Pizza, who has created a cult-like following behind his brand with his handmade and homemade pieces. Austin has released a line and instruction manual on how to create his own winter mask with his branding. Babbitt also designed bootleg Pablo Tour merch and showed up outside of the official pop-up show in New York City and began selling it. Kanye's colleagues Heron Preston and Virgil Abloh liked Austin's pieces so much that they included them to be sold at the pop-up. Apparently they even got Kanye's seal of approval as well. Individuals using the resources available to them have been able to significantly impact the fashion industry by creating what is now referred to as bootleg fashion. By taking a pre-existing well-known moniker like the Louis Vuitton logo and reframing it with the artist's personal creative touch, artists like Imran Potato and Slumpy Kev have changed the way in which fashion is perceived by the general public today and has even impacted the value of real designer garments. Designers who have successfully created hype around their own name can even release garments that sell in the aftermarket for more than a similar genuine piece. Bootleg fashion has been seen as a reoccurring trend in pop culture that resurfaces every couple decades. With bright, creative, and unique designs, artists and designers alike have been creating products that help us interact and perceive fashion differently. While bootleg fashion is limited to boutique retailers and the direct-to-consumer market due to legal issues with large brands like Louis Vuitton and Gucci, the trend continues to accelerate in 2020. It is uncertain what the future of bootleg fashion is, but it will be interesting to follow the careers of these creators and designers who are pushing the movement forward. Thank you for watching this episode of Uncommonly Cultured. If you've enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for more content, such as Uncommon Radio and Uncommon Print, follow us on Instagram at The Uncommon Mag. If you're in full support of The Uncommon Magazine and want to help us improve the quality of these videos and create new forms of content, please join our community on Patreon. Videos of this style do not get monetized often, and your support on Patreon will go a long way. Thank you for the support. Much love. The Uncommon Magazine.